if you have tasks that are included in your bare ass minimum, like they need to get done and they still feel overwhelming to you, like go through that exercise, figure out exactly how long it would take you, and how you can create these like batching systems so you can do it once and move on with your life. Welcome to Accidentally Influential, the podcast for educators, experts, and creators who never set out to become influencers, but did anyways.
I'm Kate.
And I'm T.
Together, we've built an audience of nearly 500,000 followers and secured over $700,000 in brand deals.
This is season 2, guys, and we've set out to help you land it. This is your step-by-step guide to pitching, pricing, and signing brand partnerships as an edu-creator.
You might have become accidentally influential, but monetizing your platform, that part is intentional.
Let's get to work. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Accidentally Influential. Today's going to be super chatty. Kate and I were having a conversation the other week, off mic, of course, because like the best conversations happen when we're not recording this podcast. We're like, we should have saved this conversation. And Kate brought up something that I like have never heard of, which is really surprising. There's a lot of things I haven't heard of. But anyways, I was just like, we need to talk about this on the podcast. And it's something that has really helped Kate in her life, her business life, personal life, all those things. So I'll let her introduce the concept and then we're going to dive in because I think you guys are going to eat this up.
Yes. Today, we are talking about your BAM.
BAM.
And your BAM is a acronym for bare ass minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And how this came up with T was essentially, I've had some things going on outside of work that have just been really requiring my attention, my time. But obviously, I've got this business to run, right? And everyone goes through seasons like this where life is busy, life is crazy. You can't just fully step away from your business. You can't step away from creating content. So I shift into BAM mode. And my BAM is my bare ass minimum. My bare ass minimum tasks that I have to do to keep my business moving and still have a successful content creation business. Today, we're talking about BAM. We're talking about what is your BAM? How do you figure out what your BAM is? How do you implement this in your business in hopes that if you are also going through a crazy season of life, this will help you too.
I love it. I can't help. I might be dating myself here, but I'm like a major Office fan. And every single time you say BAM, I'm like, BAM. It's like an episode from Michael Scott. And somebody out there, drop a comment if I'm not the only one. But every time I hear it and say it, I want to do it.
I've literally never watched The Office. That might be a sin. I know. Our generational difference is coming out again.
Oh, geez, I don't think I can get through a single day without an Office reference.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Feeling me. Somebody out there, support me. All right, send me a message. I need to know that I'm not alone here. Okay, so what is your BAM? Kate talked about it. It's your bare ass minimum. This is the thing that you are going to commit to maintaining no matter what season of life you are. It's like the floor. All right, we're not like over glamorizing, over pressurizing whatever your BAM is. This is like your bare minimum that like you're committing to, that you feel good about, that you're like, okay, I could be on my deathbed and I could complete this. I could have 50 appointments for my kids this day and I can complete this, you know? And so when you're in like your best mode and have all of this time, your BAM isn't something that you're like, wow, I'm really accomplishing a lot here today.
Right.
It's exactly what it is, your minimum that you complete.
Yeah. And I want to give credit where credit is due here. So I have a friend, also a content creator, Grace, if you're listening to this. Hi, we love you. We're going to try to bring her on soon. Grace is the one who introduced me to this. So I give her all the credit in the world. But here's why you need to have or figure out what your BAM is. Because without one, you shift into two modes. The first is like, you're treating every week like it's your peak week and you're like trying to pump out as much content as possible and your life is in flames and you're going to burn out because you're like trying to do way too much while other things are competing for your attention, and it's a recipe for burnout. The other one that we have is like you go all or nothing mode. You're posting every day for like 3 weeks straight. And then you're like silent for a month because life got busy. And then you come back and you're posting like twice a day for like 2 weeks straight. And then, oh no, my life is on fire again. What's TikTok? Never heard of her. We don't want you to do either of these things. There's a different route. There's a different method. And it's going to be way more productive for you in the long run.
Yeah. And you like feel like garbage when you do that. Cause I don't know about like, I feel like we've all went through those phases at some point in our business as we're like learning consistency, learning what sustainability looks like in our business. But like during those times where I literally felt like I couldn't do anything, I was so overwhelmed that I took a break. I felt so guilty. And like that pressure to still do things was like weighing on me so heavily. So even when I'm not doing anything, it's just like, it felt horrible. And then you come back and you're like, feel behind. Yeah.
And I see this all the time. Like, have you seen on TikTok, I'll see the videos where people are like, wasn't going to post. And then I saw X influencer post how much they made. And now I'm going to come back and take this seriously.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why are you just like having these moments of, and I get that. Like we all get those like moments of inspiration where you're like, I'm going to take this so far that like, this is my new career, whatever. But just, I don't know, some consistency in periods is obviously a lot better, but then also being able to like downshift when you need to and strategically do that. So much smarter. So much smarter.
Yeah. And I think like a lot of new entrepreneurs in general feel like, you know, early on, I relied a lot on motivation. Like why I got up and did something that day is because I felt motivated. And why I didn't get up and make any progress in my business is like, oh, I didn't feel motivated. And it's like, I don't feel like now after being in business for almost like over half a decade, I'm like, you know, motivation doesn't build a successful business that pays you sustainably long term. Like absolutely not. We cannot make decisions on what we do and don't do based off of emotion. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about why like your bare ass minimum is more of a business decision that is going to build a sustainable business over time.
Right. So if you guys remember in episode 27, what is that? Season 2, episode 2?
2, yeah.
Okay. When a brand lands on your page, like one of the things that brands are evaluating on is how consistent you are. Like, are you posting on a semi-regular frequency about topics that are, you know, the same topics you speak on that you want to be known for, whatever. Your BAM helps ensure that when a brand comes to your page, even if you are going through a season of life where nothing is going right, you are still setting yourself up to be able to take on opportunities in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, because like, I mean, we've talked about it in that episode Kate just referenced, but a brand sees you not post for, you know, like sees you sprint for an entire week and then takes a break. And it's like when they purchase into your personal brand and they're buying content from you and you're posting on their behalf, like they are purchasing access to your brand and adopting it into theirs. Like I'm not saying that very cleanly, but if they're seeing you take breaks and be like not very consistent, that is a poor reflection on their brand if they're trusting you as a creator to bring awareness and drive conversions for their brand. So brands don't like that. They don't want to see that.
Right. The other thing that your BAM helps protect, and part of the reason BAM is a business decision, is because if you guys have been listening to the podcast, we want you to have retainer clients. We want you to have clients that you're working with month over month. You're doing a set number of deliverables for them, and you're continuing that partnership ongoing. Your BAM helps protect those because you can't just tell a retainer partner, hey, I'm actually going to take a week off. Maybe I'll be back next week. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be back next month. Maybe I won't.
Depends how motivated I am.
Right. Yeah. I'm not really sure. Life's kind of lifing. And I'm not saying you can't have honest conversations with your brand partners. I've absolutely done this when like things come up where it's like, you know, I cannot be on my computer today. I've got a family emergency going on. You can communicate that. But we're going to talk kind of about how to determine your BAM and like when those situations pop up versus like a normal everyday life is busy, life is crazy.
Yeah. It's interesting because right now, like I run way too many social media pages. I don't even know why or how I got here, but we're here.
You don't know how you
I don't. Like who in their right mind has as many social media pages as I do? I don't know. Absolutely insane. But
also don't know. And there have been times, guys, that T has slacked me and been like, should I just start a new page? And I'm like, no. No.
T, like
please,
literally stop.
Please do not.
Yeah. But like I don't listen. I like don't know what's good for me. But I have this one page that I have like a big brand partnership with. And like I am investing a lot of other time into other pages right now and growing out that content business specifically. And I'm like, literally the only reason I am maintaining content on this and a BAM on this like other page is because of brand partnerships. I want to maintain those relationships and that like stream of income and serving that audience from that perspective. But it very easily could be like me just completely stopping content creation on that page. And that's what everything inside of me wants to do. But this concept has really helped me maintain that.
So just keep in mind when it comes to thinking through BAM, it is a business decision. And we want to remind you that setting a BAM doesn't mean you're lowering the bar for the long term. This is not going to be like, this is now the expectation I have of myself. It's not to grow, not to expand my business, just to like maintain. We're not saying that. However, your BAM can serve as insurance for everything that you have been building, the community you've built, the audience you've built, the trust you've built. And that is really how you need to think about it.
Yeah. I love that. All right. So let's talk about how you're going to set your BAM. We have a few questions that we want you guys to consider when you're trying to like figure out what is my barest minimum? Like what can I manage? What can I manage, et cetera. So get your pen and paper out. We'll actually drop these below too.
Yeah.
But we want you to answer these questions because it really will help you set that. So the first question is, what can you sustain in your absolute worst week? Like think of the worst week that you've experienced in the past year. Like what did that look like? Most of us tend to set minimums based off of how, we're feeling on our like most motivated day. And that's not what we want to do. You're just going to set yourself up for failure there. You want to set it on your absolute worst day. And so this is going to be the last time I'm going to encourage you to think about your worst day in the last year, but think about it.
Like, hey,
let's reflect and journal.
Let's journal a little bit about the worst day of your life.
Yeah. Bring up all the emotions and memories attached. No, we don't want you to stay there mentally and emotionally, but think about like your worst day, your worst week, and what you think would have been something that you could have accomplished to maintain your business during that week.
Yeah. Something here that I think is important to say is your BAM is going to look different than my BAM. My BAM is going to look different than T's BAM because we all do have different emotional capacities when we're stressed, when life is going on. There's also like different expectations you have of yourself. If you're doing content creation as a side hustle versus this is your full-time income, and your bare ass minimum might have to look a little bit different because this is what you rely on to pay your bills. So keep that in mind. But yeah, think about when you are traveling, you're sick, you went out to that bachelorette party last weekend. You went a little too hard, girls. Okay, but you got to come back on Monday and you better have a piece of content posted. What can you commit to doing? And sometimes that's like, I can commit to posting 4 times a week. Sometimes it's, I can commit to posting my brand partnerships that I have lined up for this week because I can't not do those. That could be, I have no content prep, but I can commit to getting a B-roll concept posted because I have B-roll saved on my phone. Figure out in that kind of system, umbrella. I don't really know, but like it's a spectrum. Where do you fall on that?
Yeah. And so the second question is closely tied, but what's the least that you can do that keeps your page alive and keeps your page moving? Like Kate said, this is also going to be creator dependent. Like, some of y'all are really out here posting like 9 times a week. I don't know how you do it, but some of y'all are doing that. So like there's going to be a stark difference if you're like, okay, my bare ass minimum is like once every 2 weeks when you're consistent is like 9 times that. So you need to think about your audience, how much they're used to like being served by you, your brand partnerships, all of those things, your story, strategy. What is the least you could do in a single week that would maintain and keep your page alive?
Yeah. And I will speak from experience here. Right now I am in BAM mode. I've been in BAM mode for probably about 2 weeks at this point. And something that I have agreed to, like I know every day, my bare ass minimum, I have to check my emails for my business. That's a non-negotiable. I have to check my Etsy orders for my Etsy businesses. That's a non-negotiable. I have to post on TikTok and I have to post something on my grid to Instagram at least 4 times a week. So like on TikTok, I aim for 6. My bare ass minimum is 6 TikTok posts, 4 to 5 Instagram posts. So I'm not saying every day. Notice I'm not showing up on stories. I have not been on a story. You have not seen me on a story, and you're not gonna see me on a story, okay? Until life calms down a little bit. And that's okay because this is season, but like I'm committing to getting that content pumped out still.
Yep. No,
and that's it. And that's also it. I want to say, like, that means, yes, when my day is over and those tasks are done, I'm like, okay, I'm now mentally disconnecting from work so I can deal with everything else.
Yeah. And she doesn't feel guilty about it because that's what this entire, this is to help you stay consistent, keep us consistent, but also give us the freedom to turn off and do life for a little bit until we're in this phase where BAM isn't our isn't
Needed
our current
anymore.
status.
Right.
Yeah.
We talk a lot on this show about taking yourself seriously as a creator, and that means setting yourself up like a real business.
That's why we're really excited to be partnering with Taylor Brands. They're an all-in-one platform that helps creators and entrepreneurs like you and me form their LLCs and get their business organized.
When T and I decided to make Not an Influencer Creator Agency official, we actually used Taylor Brands to form our LLC, and the process was honestly so simple.
We were able to file from our laptops at home in less than an hour. They walked us through the entire process step by step, and we were able to track the status of our filing right from within our Taylor Brands dashboard.
Taylor also offers additional services like helping you get your EIN or set up your business bank accounts, so once your LLC is filed, you've got what you need to keep moving forward.
Plus, tools like their finance manager can help you track your income and expenses as you grow, which, let's be real, is the part most creators avoid.
If you're a content creator ready to treat your platform like a business, search Taylor Business Builder to get started today.
All right, so question number 3, what can you batch or systematize to make your BAM nearly automatic? This might not be for everybody. And that's okay. But for those of you that your brain actually does function in a way that batching is helpful, creating systems is really helpful, you're at that point in your business that you can do those things. What is your strategy to to bank content so that when you're in a BAM phase, it makes it so simple to be able to maintain those goals?
Yeah. And once again, I'll speak from experience here because I think it's helpful for some people, but I tend to be prepped on content 1 week in advance. However, when I sense that I'm coming into a season where I'm not going to be able to film daily or even every other day or something like that, I will try to set aside this afternoon, all I'm going to do is film. I'm going to film as many concepts off the top of my head as I can. And then I let them sit in my drafts or let them sit in CapCut until I have the energy to then the next day go in and edit one of them. I'm not saying I go in and film 10 videos, edit 10 videos. That's exhausting. I don't have the time for that. I'm in BAM mode. But if I can get 10 videos filmed and commit to editing one and posting one a day, that's so much more approachable. The other thing that works a lot here is go find an old carousel you posted on Instagram and rework that concept for something else, or find a carousel that worked in the past, change it a little bit, change the pictures in it and repost it. Go back and find a video concept that performed on your page, refilm it. Or even I've done this. I'll post the same video again sometimes.
I do it every week.
Yeah, because I'm it's been a year and a half since I posted this and this information is still helpful. It's getting posted again. There's so many different ways you can do this. Figure out what works best for you. It can be a combination of all these things. It can be something else.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's funny. I've been using Claude a lot to Claude Command Center to help me manage all of my businesses and everything that I'm doing. So I just feel like I'm dropping balls left and right. And I feel like I'm in BAM mode on half of them and the other half I can't be. And one task it had me do is figure out how long these tasks that feel overwhelming to me and that I feel like I can't do, how long they actually take. I'm a type B person. So anything that's just I just a future T will deal with this and I just don't do it. But sometimes talking head videos right now just feel that way to me. And Claude had me figure out how long this task actually takes me. And if I'm creating around 20 to 30 talking head videos a month, it's just that actually only takes you about 2 to 3 hours maximum based off of all the,
Yep.
a month. And I was I could do that. I could technically film all of my content for an entire month across my pages in half of a day and do exactly what Kate just said, as I need to edit it and roll it out. But the task that feels huge in my head right now is the creation of it. And so I definitely recommend that exercise. If you have tasks that are included in your barest minimum, they need to get done and they still feel overwhelming to you, go through that exercise, figure out exactly how long it would take you, and how you can create these batching systems so you can do it once and move on with your life.
Isn't it so funny the amount of weight sometimes we put on these tasks that we're like, oh my God, that thing is just going to take me so long. Before this, I have like a UGC client that I needed to film some content for. And I was like, I'm going to have to film this voiceover. Oh, it's going to take me so long. Once again, Kate's in BAM mode. I'm like, I got to do this. But it's going to take forever. Girl, it took me 10 minutes. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, and if you are listening to this and you're like, oh my God, how are they creating content so fast? Guys, we've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
We've been doing this forever. We've been making content every day, multiple videos a day for years. When I first created content, it took me 2 to 3 hours. You might not be able to say at this point in your content creation journey, oh, I'm just going to take 3 hours and prep all my content for the month. That's fine.
Yeah. Definitely not advocating for that.
But show up with consistency enough in a few years, come back and you're going to be like, oh, I get that.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't quit and you shift into BAM mode.
It's so funny that you bring that example up. Obviously you guys know that Kate and I run a creator agency, and this is just like going to paint tea in exactly how you guys probably know me to be. But Kate had to remind me like 5 times this month, and I think last month, to pay a creator, because like there's a creator that just has to be paid differently, and somehow I'm responsible for that, and that is not my cup of tea. And every time she reminded me, I was just like, oh, that feels really painful. Like that's going to take me forever. Like I like physically feel ill doing that right now. And I was like, future tea problem. It got to the point where I needed to do it, and it took me like 45 seconds.
It's so funny, like the different ways our brain works, because I am responsible monthly for paying everybody.
Yeah,
like that is my job.
All of it.
I'm responsible
for
paying
one creator.
T's got one. I've got the rest of them, and like
when I'm like not even exaggerating, like physically ill, I'm like, I can't do this.
I'm dying. Eventually, I was like, I figured she did it until the creator reached out. I was like, hi. And I was like, I swear to God, I'm going to drive to the other side of Pennsylvania. Like,
yeah. If that creator's listening, that's all
we
me,
love
girl.
you.
I love you. I'm just a troubled child, I guess. I don't know. It's not my strength.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Okay. Question number 4, when it comes to determining what your BAM is going to be, what are you explicitly giving yourself permission not to do? That's a huge part of this, because I do think, as a beginner content creator, I struggled a lot with this, being like, I have these huge goals. I want to grow this page. I want to turn this into a business. When it got to the point where I thought I could turn it into a business, whatever. And then you're like, well, I don't want to post. So then you like spend time scrolling, or you like spend time like feeling guilty that you're not doing the thing, even though that's not motivating you to do the thing. It's just like keeping you stuck. And then you're like, why did I just waste the past 2 hours not working, but also not getting anything done? But I also like didn't do anything for my personal life. Stop. You've got to like be like, okay, the BAM is done. I'm going to go. I'm going to go deal with everything else so that I can eventually shift out of BAM mode. Because that's still the goal, right? You don't live at your BAM. BAM is just, this is a mode you need to be in until you can shift out of it.
Yeah. And I think that like, I don't know about you, Kate, but like there are so many voices that are like, especially if you spend a lot of time scrolling, there are so many voices that are telling you things that you need to do to be successful, like things you absolutely need to do. You need to like post on your stories every day at 8 a.m. to make connection with your community. And then you need to sell every day, and you need to be posting on your grid, and you need to be like pitching brands,
other people's content, and
10 and every hour. It's just like all these freaking rules that like aren't true, by the way, because there's a semblance of truth in every single thing, but it's not the thing. It's not like if you take this puzzle piece out, you have no chance. And so it's like silence the noise of all of those things and kind of like let it go. I feel like a huge piece is just like giving yourself permission not to listen to what everybody's telling you need to do in order to be successful, especially when you are in BAM mode.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so before we give you guys a challenge for the week, we do want to kind of name the trap that you can fall into if you don't use BAM properly. So we've kind of hinted at this throughout the episode, but your BAM is a floor, okay? It's not a home where you get to live. It is like a tent.
Yeah.
Where you are staying for a temporary amount of time until you can get back in your home. So keep that in mind. Like, we don't want you guys using this as kind of a crutch or something that you're just going to be using ongoing. This is something you shift into in very, very particular seasons of life.
Yeah. And so I think like the first task is obviously figuring out what your BAM is. And the second task is being like, okay, like, how am I going to be disciplined to rebound out of this? What are the signs that I need to be in bare minimum mode? And what are the signs in my life that it's not the time to, I don't want to say slack. My brain automatically, it's not slacking.
Yeah.
But like, if you're not in a season that requires BAM, it is slacking. It's like getting comfortable with where you're at. And as as people that are invested in your growth and like the success of your content creation business, like we would never want you to stay there. And so understanding the cues in your own life that it's time to ramp back up.
Yeah. And so this looks, once again, very different for different people. Like for me, I can notice I'm ready to shift out of BAM mode when personal tasks are not requiring multiple hours of my day, or I'm actually sleeping well again, or whatever it is. Like if I'm sick, like when I can finally start talking again, like, and I have a day where I feel like I've got my life back together, then I can shift out of it. But it looks different. It's just about kind of recognizing for you what that actually looks like.
Yeah. And I think for me, like I know it's time for me to, from a business perspective, to shift into BAM mode. A little slip there.
Yeah.
Shift into BAM mode when like I get like actual physical symptoms of I don't ever know I'm stressed until like my head feels like it's going to pop off, and then I start snapping at my family, stuff like that. I notice those things are starting to happen. That means like mentally I'm unable to turn off when I'm with my family, who's my priority. And then, okay, I'm like, we gotta break our phone from like 9 to 12, which means we need to reduce the number of tasks we're doing in our business that day. And I shift kind of into that BAM mode. And then, when those types of symptoms, whatever you want to call them, are absent and I'm able to be present, then that's for my cue that it's time, like I can start adding tasks in and get back to normal a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like entrepreneurship and soloprenneurship and content creation yes, content creatorship are glamorized a lot on social media. And I think that, if you went on my social media pages right now, I don't know when this episode is going to come out, but like, for the record, it's August 13th. If you go on my page, K-Rab LLC is still posting content right now on August 13th. And you might look at my page and be like, oh my gosh, nothing seems wrong. Like she's rocking it. She's crushing it. Like, don't think that like just because you're seeing everybody else's content out there that nobody else is experiencing this, that nobody else is operating from a place of being in BAM mode, whatever it is. Like we all go through seasons. We all know social media shows 10% of the real world, your real life. So don't compare yourself to strangers on the internet. Don't feel guilty when you have to go into this mode. It does happen to all of us, despite the fact that you probably don't know people are in this.
Yeah. One of my like favorite things that are going on the internet right now, I don't know if you've seen any of this, is just like exposure of like the coaching world, and how like a lot of these like business coaches and people that sell the idea of being extremely successful online and selling digital products and making all this money, blah, blah, blah. Like their pages, you would look at them and be like, holy cow, like they've got everything together. They have their systems, they have their content, they are making mad money. And then like they join these like mastermind groups and it's just like all a load of crap. Like it's literal crap. And they're like asking questions on how to like, scale to 5 to 10K. They're like drowning in work and like are putting their kids in extra hours of daycare because they can't keep it up. But like on the front, it's just like,
it looks so glamorous.
Yeah. It's like, I want that life. I want what she has. And it's just like, you got to keep that in mind. Like, yes, there are ways to build your business that way. Like there are ways and you have to be very intentional about it. But there are many, many creators and many business owners who do not build that way. And what you're looking at is not something you would actually ever want to experience or live in.
Yeah. And I think that's also kind of tied to like, you got to know what your why is at the end of the day. Like I often think about when I was in corporate and I would have a really bad day or something was going on outside of work that I was like, I wish I could just dedicate my full attention to this, whatever it is. I would be like, I wish I worked for myself and didn't have to request PTO and could just like go deal with that when it's coming up. And so I feel like for me, something I have to remind myself of is whenever these seasons of life come up, I'm like, this is why I pursued self-employment, so that I could prioritize the people in my life who I love and, my mental health and all these other things. And that kind of allows me to stay rooted in what I'm doing for my business, what I'm doing for myself. But I've experienced those seasons where you're like, everyone's just telling me to like scale, hire, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you don't have to do that either. Like, that doesn't have to be the business you run if you don't want that to be the business you run.
Yep. Preach it. All right. So we always leave with a challenge. Should be pretty straightforward.
We're like, what's your bare ass minimum? We're going to add something to your list.
Go figure out what your bare ass minimum is.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the goal is for this week, is figure out what your BAM is. Sit down, answer the questions that we pasted below, walk through. What's the most you could sustain in your absolute worst week? What do you need to do to keep your page alive? What can you make nearly like automatic by adding in systems or batching? And then lastly, what are you giving yourself permission to not pay attention to or just to drop?
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can implement this not only in your lives as creators, but also just in like other parts of your business, in your personal life, whatever it be, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. You're not a robot, and social media is lying to you if you think that you need to be perfect and like working 2 hours a day, but somehow getting like 18 hours of work done. That's just not reality. So hopefully this is helpful. If you enjoyed this podcast, share it with a creator friend or just a friend who needs this reminder.
Yeah.
Tag
they
us.
Probably all do. All of your friends probably need this reminder.
Yes.
So
if you figure out your BAM and you're implementing it, tag us. Let us know. Send us a DM. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, make sure you come back next Monday because we'll have another episode of Accidentally Influential for you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.